Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, you will learn how to append queries. I've got my Power BI desktop file opened, and on the right, I've got some models that are imported from a Microsoft Access database file and from a folder that contained some CSV files. So I'm going to open up the models inside the Power Query editor. So inside the ribbon area here, I'll click on Edit Queries and then click on Edit Queries. And that will open up the models as queries inside the query editor. If you notice, we've got this folder called Transform File from International. This international represents the folder that we connected to that contains some Excel or CSV files. The transformation we made was basically recorded in this folder. So if we look here, it says sample query. And if I click on that, you'll be able to see some content. Okay, so this transform file from international represents the transformation that took place before the data was brought into the Power BI desktop. When you're working with Power BI desktop and you're analyzing data, you may have queries that have similar columns, and you may want to append the queries to make it easier to analyze the data. So here we've got international query, which represents sales from international countries. If I click on that, it's got all these columns here, and it's also got a column called country. If I click on this sales query, which represents local US sales, it's got identical column but has not got a column called country. So what I want to do, I want to append the queries. So I'm going to append this sales query with the international query because they've got identical columns. The only difference is that this international has got a country column. So when I append that, in that column that is extra in the international query will now become available in the sales fact query once it's been appended. So while I've got the sales fact selected, on the ribbon area, there is an append queries option. I'll click on the drop down and click append queries, and that will bring up a dialog box. So it specifies that I'm appending 2 tables. That is the default. If I'm appending from 3 or more, I will select that option. But because I'm only appending within 2 tables, I need to select the table to append. So I click on the drop down, and the table to append is international. So I've selected the table to append and now click OK. And that will append the data. So if we scroll down here, you can see under this sales fact query, we've got a new column. So Power BI will match all the columns from both queries, and you can see it's brought in this additional column that was not previously in the sales fact query. Now notice that the data are represented as null. That's because this information came from international sales. So the US based data is not represented in the international sales column. So in order to get this value to show as USA, we need to create a custom column and apply some expression formula in order to populate the custom column properly. So in the ribbon area, click on Add Column and then click on Custom Column. It will bring up a dialog box. So I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it country name, and here is where we add the expression. Now there is a powerful language behind this here, is called M. So we're going to use that to create an expression formula that will enable us to populate that column properly. So we're going to say if the country column, so we select from the available column. So if the country column is showing as null, which it is at the moment, then replace that null value with USA. USA. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Else, if the value is not null, then replace it with the name of the original country. That's all this simple expression is. If the country name is showing as null, replace it with USA, otherwise leave it as the original country name. So that's it. I just click OK, and you can see now that custom column is now populating with USA. So we no longer need this country column here. I just right click and remove that. And what I can do also is change the name here of this query from sales fact. I just want it to say sales. Okay, and I'll press enter. Notice that all the applied steps are also recorded here. So if for any reason you want to revoke an action, you just come here and delete it, and that will undo the action. Now the next thing to do is to apply the changes we have made so that the data can be reloaded into the Power BI desktop. So here under the Home tab, I'll come here under Close and Apply and select Close and Apply to reload the data into the Power BI desktop. So we'll give it a few minutes to do that. So you can see the data is being reloaded into the Power BI desktop. So the data has finished loading, and you can see here in the model here, it has also changed the name from sales fact to sales. So that's it for this video on appending queries. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.